Welcome to the Quip Corner with Ada. Yes, this is not my usual spot, but one of my other spots. Today we'll be having the Quip and Convo segments with someone who's been in the Quip Corner before. You'll see her bio right after this. See you in a bit. Welcome again to the Quip Corner, Dr. Nina.
Well, thank you. It is good to be back. I've missed it. I enjoy my time here.
Yes, yes. And maybe before we go too far, I'd like to have you back again.
Okay. It's my pleasure. I really enjoy the atmosphere. I enjoy the conversation. And I just think you're doing a first-rate job. So absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate your kind words. So today we're going to be discussing a quip from, my first book. And I had shared the quip with you earlier and you chose quip 57. And the quip says, good leaders groom staff, great leaders groom others, and make room for them to bloom. So I was curious, of the options I gave you, why you chose this one and what your thoughts are on it.
I think I chose this one because leadership is a topic that's near and dear to me. And it is, it can be detrimental for those that you're supposedly leading if you don't offer space for them to also become leaders. My theory is that we groom leaders to become leaders. We don't groom people to follow us, right? And so in ministry, that's really tough. That's really tough because you want to, maintain the authority, but you also want them to be able to express what the Holy Spirit reveals or any revelations they have to the future. So that's why it's tough.
Nice. Yeah. And so, in your leadership journey, both spiritual and secular, how have you dealt with leaders who are trying to get more followers versus grooming new leaders?
Well, I think I have been fortunate enough to have built my own type of ministries and businesses and things like that. So sometimes you can't correct that because you're part of a group and you may sit under someone. But I know that when I go to do what I'm assigned to do, not to do what they're doing. And I just don't take it personally because I do understand that if you look at the church, there is a pastor who is the leader. And so I do understand, and I have seen where the more leverage you give them, the more space you give them, sometimes they just completely ignore the leader. So it's a very tight rope to walk, and I understand frustrations on both sides. You need people to listen to you. You need them to follow you if they are to grow. But you also need to find a space for them to then become leaders that can produce other leaders. So it's tough.
Yeah, that's an interesting tightrope because sometimes you're like, yes, I want to give you space, and the individual then sucks up all the air.
Right, exactly. And then for me, I have to make sure somebody, for example, we were talking about fasting the other night. Somebody introduced fasting into our little group, right?
Okay.
And I said, I do agree with the principle of fasting, but I think I want to do it in another context because I want to let people understand that it's not just about I'm fasting and I'm happy. It's about growth. And if you're coming out of fasting once every month and there's no growth, you get so that I try to correct things, but not discourage them from input. And that's a tight place to walk.
Like,
nice. You don't just fast to say you fast. I mean, I fasted, but do you understand this principle? Did you decide why you were fasting? Did you allow God to make that change or to correct that situation? It's a tough one. It's a wonderful quip because it really is a tough call.
Yeah. And I like the points about understanding the why, Because a lot of times we do so much what and how and when and where, and half the
Absolutely.
time we don't know whether we're going to come in because we don't know why we're
Right.
doing what we're doing.
That's absolutely true. I have a lot of things on my plate. And one of my frustrations as I age is that, I mean, I've done it all my life. It's a familial trait, right? So one of my frustrations is that I'm not really good at the holistic view sometimes.
Okay.
I do very well in obedience, which is why I'm just a natural for spirit and for God and things like that. I do very well in obedience, but sometimes I'm not so good stepping back and looking at how all of this connects.
Yeah.
But I'm growing. I'm getting better at that because you can't take people to a place if you don't know where you're going and how what you're doing fits into where you're going. You know,
yes.
so
Yes. And that definitely is a leadership trait. Yes. Yeah. That is so true. Wow. Well, thank you for sharing your perspective on this quip. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's one of my passions, leadership. I think we damage people if we don't lead them into leadership. I think we make them
Woo!
followers.
Now that is a quipable quip. That is so true.
Yeah, we damage.
So based on that, what about those who don't want to be leaders? How do you manage that?
I think everybody wants to lead in something.
Okay.
I think what happens a lot of times is they have to be built up to understand that they are equipped to do it.
Okay.
And once they're equipped to do it, once they believe in themselves, they want to lead because everybody has ideas. Everybody has desires. Everybody says, if I could just tweak that, I bet I could make it better.
Yeah.
And there's a fear, I think, that keeps people from stepping out. So once you empower them, I find that I get a lot of young people that come into the ministry, they're so quiet. But once you empower them and once you affirm them and say, you are wonderful, you have this, you have that, and I really need you to step up, they begin to grow and they begin to blossom and they want to lead. So I think, most people want to lead. We just have to encourage them and put them in a space where they're comfortable doing it.
Yeah. That's so true. And that's the second half of the quip, which says, giving people room to bloom.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes.
And grooming them,
Yeah.
Grooming them, like you said, and giving them room and giving them affirmation.
Yes.
Right? I think what stops us from wanting to grow is fear.
That's true.
What if I look silly? What if I,
what if I fail? Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. When I was starting my ministry, the young ladies, I could begin to be able to tell when they had a prophetic word because they were birthing in prophecy, right? And I would say, so and so, so and so, come on over here. You have a word for this person. I knew I say that, but because they knew, you know what I mean? They knew. I just had to call it out and say, I know too, so come on over here.
Yeah.
But eventually they were emboldened,
Nice.
and they trusted the movement through them, and they've applied that to life, to just living life. I'm just going to step out because I believe this is what I need to do, and they blossom. So I think that's how we're all made,
For sure. So thanks again for sharing your perspective on this quip. I truly appreciate it, Dr. Nina.
I think, this is a great quip. I think the more we empower people to lead, the more we can get done as a society. And I think when you affirm people, they want to lead. Who doesn't want to come out and do something beautiful and know that they helped produce it? So an excellent quip. I'm actually interested in purchasing one of your books.
And that's fine. I'm happy to send you the link for autographed copies. I'm happy to send you that link later.
Absolutely, because I think they will be great teaching tools.
Well, thank you.
Just to have a discussion around leadership, which I think is sorely needed. So congratulations on that. And thank you so much for having me here again.
You're welcome. See you next time.
On the clip.
Yes.
I've been listening. Take care here.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
As usual, it was lovely having Dr. Nina in the Quip Corner. Did you hear what she said? We damage people when we don't empower them for leadership. Definitely a quotable or quipable quip. Okie dokie. See you in the Quip Corner next time. And if you haven't already done so, do subscribe. Share the video with others. And I guess based on Dr. Nina's comments, I will include the link if you want to also order autographed copies of any one of my books. Thanks again. Bye now.